So so I think we're back again. Sorry, as y'all know, it seems to follow me, this technical aspect of things, and we're now in the office, and we've got internet in the office and things like that, so different things. But we're here in the office, and Daniela is trying to manage it all for me. And we're going to head out now to the front of the office in this beautiful view. And whether you've been on a horse country tour or on the virtual tours, you wouldn't have really had a chance to spend any time at the office. And over the next life of our virtual tours, we're going to be someday along the way. I'm going to speak more in terms of, you know, our history, my history within the horse business, and also, you know, different aspects of really our family history, and talk about matings and such like that just along the way. We've got nothing but time, and we haven't sat down really with any great ideas, but I know that that's something that I want to share because I've been doing this long enough, and there have been so many great experiences. I'm fortunate in that throughout my time in the business, I've always kept a calendar book for the last 40 years. And there are just a lot of great notations, obviously, in this calendar book of experiences that we've had. And it'll be a chance to maybe reflect on some of those things, to reflect on the process of those things, such as matings and such. So we've got lots of opportunity here. We've got 6 generations of history to share with yourselves, along with this setting of this beautiful Millridge farm. So the one thing that I emphasize here, Byron, let me just get right behind you, that plaque. This truly is what it's all about. Danielle, if you want to try to head on, are we still showing?
No, we're good.
Yeah. This is all about Alice Chandler. And this plaque kind of says it all, the Lifetime Contribution Award, which she received in 2019. And the Lady of the Bluegrass, whose boldness and experience and leadership combined to shape our industry in Central Kentucky, is the unrivaled capital for the thoroughbred and their admirers. And everything that we do is, we being all of Millridge and our family, is with Mom in mind. And it's truly a celebration. Our tours, our horse country tours, are all about Millridge, and everything's about Millridge. And when you're speaking of Millridge, you're really speaking of Mom and Alice Chandler and Doc, John Chandler, and the role that he played for the 50 years, which is so very, gosh, it's just so important. So we send out a monthly newsletter. Many of y'all receive it. If you're not aware of it, or you not have an email address, I'd encourage you to reach out to Kim or to Daniela here. If you don't, just share your email address if you want to receive the newsletter. And this month's newsletter, I just wrote an article, a letter. We write a letter. Price and I will write a letter introducing the newsletter for the month about Keeneland and the history of Keeneland. And it's a foundation, you know, it's a foundation piece within this community, within the thoroughbred industry, and within our family. So everything that we do, we try to share with yourselves to let y'all feel a part of this. And so that's what Brown Car is, which we're into now. It's just letting you share in this experience of things. I mean, Brown Car is a unique thing as well, and it's, you know, so rather than me keeping it to myself, I like to try to share it, and the same thing applies to Millridge. So Byron is with me currently. and we've had a most wonderful morning. So Byron met me here at the farm at 6:45. He has, the way it worked out was we introduced various aspects of the industry to Byron, and that started in April last year when we had met maybe the month before, and the horses and training aspect of it. He wanted to initially say, you know, I'd like to race. So Byron, why don't you just share a little bit about just share what you had in mind when you first started about getting in the business.
Well, I had in mind learning about the business. It seems to me that I started from a level of low knowledge, and I've come so far. And we started with racing in 2022. I had 9 starters for the year, and won twice, which was a great percentage. As the year unfolded, Heatley and I became friends and spent more time together, and bought a couple of yearlings at auctions, and then partnered with Heatley and Millridge and Price to buy some brood mares, both in foal and those we will seek to breed this season, and that's been great fun. I've seen them this morning, including our first new birth, a filly bred by Omaha Beach out of a Caraconte mare named Romy. And it was great to see the filly and the mother both doing so well. But the best thing for me during the past 12 months that I've been in the business has been my friendship with Heatley and getting to know his family, and having that be such an important part of my life. And I think, truth be told, that's what I hoped for when we started a year ago. The horse racing is a hobby, but a dear friend is priceless. So it's been a wonderful journey so far, and our plate is full for the future, and we look forward to nibbling off that as we go along.
Well said. I echo all of that. It's just the horse is an extraordinary means of connecting, and when you consider all that goes with the horse, such as this land, the people, the desires of fulfilling a dream, there's really nothing quite like it, and that's why we're sharing with yourselves. And Byron and his family have become, as he said, it's such a bonus. We couldn't have imagined it to be really what it is. It was never ever, and you never dare write a script that might suggest something of that nature, but it is, and we celebrate that. And his wife Emily she couldn't make it this weekend, but she'll be here, and my wife Nancy and I have shared some holiday time with them down in Nassau and things, and it's just extraordinary. So delighted for Byron to join me on this virtual tour, and for y'all to get to know Byron, and Daniela, who's over yonder way, and we've driven to the stallion portion of the farm. And our apologies on, I'm not sure if, that it disconnected. Hopefully y'all knew to reconnect and things like that, but we won't worry about that. We'll just hope it was the best it could be. And it is. I was assisted by Daniela, right, Daniela? You're only as good as your team. And man, we have the best team. So now we've got Byron beside me and Daniela beside me, and we have a look at this guy out here, Oscar Performance. Byron got to experience something he'd never seen before, which is the breeding, the covering of Oscar Performance with the mare this morning, as well as Aloha West with the mare this morning. And as y'all know, the thoroughbred is a live cover breed. It's not artificial insemination, so that's a big part of what Central Kentucky is, which is houses these stallions, houses these mares, houses all the medicines and the legal and all the accounting and all the facilities to allow the thoroughbred business to be the center of this Central Kentucky. And Oscar said he's going to come and say hello to you guys. And don't you love that? So the Ammermans are going to be in next week to have a look at Oscar. We're going to step up and give Oscar plenty of room. Come say hello, Oscar. You old...
Hello, Oscar.
Hello, Oscar. Hello, Oscar. The Ammermans are going to come next week, and we're going to have a look at their foals and their yearlings and things. We've tidy, well, what's the word? We've backed off a little bit with regard to carrots and feeding of carrots amongst the herd, because what was occurring on our horse country experiences a little bit was the yearling colts mostly and such had gotten very aware of when the visitors were coming by, and they started getting very aggressive amongst themselves and such, fighting over the carrots, and the herd dynamics of only a few were winning, which is fine, but you know, 2 times a day for all that kind of thing, it just got to be a little too much, you know. So we backed off of that on the yearling colts. We still stop and we see them, and we feed the mares when it suits. You know, we'll feed the mare. You still feed carrots to the mares, but we're not doing the mares and the foals. We likely won't do weanlings the same kind of way, but we stop and we visit and we share, and we let you get close to all of it. But we're a little more sensitive about the carrots because we're a little more sensitive about the herd dynamics. And everything that we do, and y'all know this, and I wish I could read your comments, and I apologize, but Danielle, you will go back afterwards. Danielle promises she will answer any questions, any comments, anything. She is available to you. But what we do is, as Mom so declared, and everybody in the business that's associated with Mom, the horse comes first. And you always try to do what is best for the horse, and the rest will take care of itself. So that's a foundation piece within really ourselves and really within the industry. So that is Oscar. We're here at Barn 3. A reminder, there's our friend right there. We're going to say goodbye to Brown Car for now, and we're going to have a little walk. You know, I'm not sure. There's Aloha West way over that way. And this is Barn 3, which is the only barn, just again a reminder, because some of y'all have been on since the very beginning, like Michelle. Michelle came through the other day. It's great to see you, Michelle. So many of y'all come back through the horse country tours year after year and things of that nature. But Michelle reminded us about when she started in the COVID phase of our lives and how much it meant to her. Are you comfortable with your cup?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
How much it meant to her to be able to, quote, get out. You know, she felt as if she was free by walking the fields. And so, you know, that's what we do. This is Barn 3. It's the only barn, only really anything that existed within the farm in 1962 when my mother's father died, Hal Price Headley died. And she started to build out Mill Ridge Farm. This land was a part of Beaumont. He left her 280 acres, and the only thing on here was this barn and the 2 stallion barns. And from there, my brother Reynolds helped to build this out, and then Dr. Chandler, Mom and Dr. Chandler married in 1971, and Sir Ivor was born in between, and that really started off everything. let me just share with you, this is where we're going to have the party, but in between, those are foods that are provided for employees on the farm from Bluegrass Charities. And it's an extraordinary organization that looks after those that don't have as much as others. Our Hispanic workers are a team and a family, and just a little extra assistance comes from Bluegrass Charities with different aspects of things, you know, and so we thank them for being what they are and being in our world. So we're going to have, Beth and Price are going to have their party here in the end of this barn. There'll be about 175 people who will come in from all over this community as well as outside of everywhere, because it's become a great tradition to share this weekend, or spring in Kentucky, spring at Keeneland, spring at Mill Ridge, and it's just kind of when we all just enjoy the bloom and the opportunity that's before us. So we're now walking between these paddocks. It was interesting the other day, there was an article from our dear friend Frank Mitchell that wrote about Begum, and for y'all that have been on the tours before, you know a little story about Begum. Begum was are we still working okay? Begum was I think a foal of 1981 maybe. She was in the first crop of Alydar. Alydar was an extraordinary racehorse that Mom and Reynolds had bred to from a mare that Reynolds had worked at Guamazon before, a mare by the name of Rule of Good. And so we were excited about this future foal, when it arrived, she had, the foal, and as a filly, had no eyes, just little tissues, like little pencil erasers for eyes. And so the dilemma was for what role, what purpose, you know, will Begum serve? Because she wouldn't be able to race. You really didn't know what role she could play as far as being a future mother, because you weren't aware of how much light would be able that she could take in to allow her to cycle. You just didn't know. And on top of that, when she stood and nursed, there was a $50,000 stud fee that was due on the Alydar. And that was is a lot of money, and it was a lot of money at that time, and particularly for ourselves. But Mom being Mom, and a big part of who she was her intuition, her gut, her love, driven by the love of the horse, and her belief, the dream for her, that it'll always be better on the other side. And she said, you know, we're going to try it. Thanks. Thank you. All right. Sorry, Danielle's trying to help me here. Thank you. We don't know how the future lies, but we're going to try to give it a go and see if we can have her become a broodmare. So this paddock here that I just walked by, that's what made me think about it, was where Begum was located, and her foal. And what we did, what Duncan McDonald, our farm manager, and everybody did, was plowed around the perimeter of the interior of the paddock, so that there was rough ground before the fence. They put a bell on the mother so that the foal could find the mother, identify the mother, and that the rough fence was the first sign of the fence, which was her boundary. And you know, you don't learn about that until you run into the fence, but you start to piece it together because of survival. So that was the start of Begum growing up in this world without vision. And what we did was just raised her from a foal to eventually a weanling, where you separated mom from baby. Eventually introduced her to another, I believe we introduced her to another horse. I can't quite remember, to be honest with you, or not. I don't know what we did, but anyway, I can't remember. But eventually, after a yearling, a 2-year-old, we didn't breed her as a 2-year-old, and then as a 3-year-old, we did try to breed her as a 3-year-old. And that alone, she came and she cycled, and she did not conceive the first year, but as a 4-year-old, she had her first foal. And that ended up being a daughter of Diocese, and who was our local stallion, because we could breed her to our local horse. We didn't know if she'd be able to handle the van or not. But we bred her to our local horse. She conceived and produced a Diocese filly called Songlines that ended up being a stakes winner. Careful how you step here, guys. Just want to pick your spot next to a post there, Byron. Next to a post, that's the strongest part. Excuse me, guys. I'm climbing a fence. Hang in there. Songlines, who produced a number of daughters along the way who are still in production. So the winner over the weekend of do you remember what stake it was, Daniela, at New York? The Wood Memorial. Do you remember the horse's name?
Lord Miles.
Thank you. See, Daniela, great teammate. Lord Miles, as she said. Group 1, wasn't it? No, it's Group 2 now. So Lord Miles goes back 6 generations to Begum. And that's the rest of the story. We just walked by Begum's initial home, the paddock. And there are just lots of stories. Again, you think about it, we're walking the land of 5 generations before me, really. And that's a rare thing when you speak of family and you speak of land. And again, we celebrate that. And we bring y'all along in this celebration. Yes, it does. Billy Sue says, teamwork makes the dream work. Amen. Can we hear a hallelujah? Yes, it does. So now, team, y'all are part of our team. We're walking in what we call the Poe field. Granddad used to name all the fields. And I believe, I was speaking to a gal yesterday, I believe he used to paint either the tractors a different color or whatever, because he would know, no matter where he was, who was doing what. No matter, he could look, it was a 2,000-acre farm, and he could just look from yonder and say, all right, well, they're working, and if they're not, why is that? Okay, so that's how he kind of kept up with it. Well, look, we got action here, y'all. These are mamas coming to say, hey, why are y'all in our territory? And who are you? And we've never had anybody do this. How about that? So Deborah was at the Wood Memorial.
Wow.
How about that, Deborah? Melissa Pappas. Welcome. So these are the last of our pregnant mares. I think we've got the whole, we have maybe 20. We had a foal last night. We might have 19 mares still to foal. We had a healthy Oscar performance out of the mare Proximity Bias. that I own with another dear friend named Frank Garrison, in a healthy foal last night. So we maybe have 19 to foal. This is the field that they all live in, that feeds into what we call Barn 5, the foaling barn. Many of y'all, if you've been on here long enough, will recall when Divine Actress, Price and I were walking these fields, and at that stage we were down to 7 mares, and when we got over here we counted up and it's like, this is about the same kind of time as now. There's only 6 mares out here. Lo and behold, Divine Actress had foaled that morning. How many of you guys, put your hands up and let me know if y'all remember that. Yeah, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? See, y'all been a part of our family. We'll keep doing this. That's the whole idea. We kind of got away because there's just a lot of stuff, but it's a focal effort of ourselves to include you once again. So I am just kind of wandering here a little bit. I'll tell you what we have is everything now. Hello. Everything now is staying out all night. The mares and the foals are all staying out all night, and so they go up first thing in the morning. You come, yeah, you're good, ladies. They go up first thing in the morning, so they haven't been turned out. This is one of Byron's mares right here. How about that? There's the owner, and there's the mare. Belle Court. Yeah, what did we pay? $80,000 or something like that?
Something like that.
For her, bought from Godolphin. And you got to be careful. See, she'll do that. Mamas will do. They just do. Yeah, I know it. You just can't help yourselves, can you? See, who are you? Who are you causing the trouble? Oh, you're my mare.
Wouldn't you know it?
Wouldn't you know it? That's effective. That's how about that? That's the herd we were talking about. See, they're running off because he might have something for us. I want it and you can't. So that's a mare by the sire Blame, that Frank Garrison, David Silverstein, Fred Hall, and I bought with the intention of trying to race. She didn't sell as a yearling. She's from Althea's family, out of a mare called Going Day, who's a very closely related to Althea, which is a blue hen mare, foundation mare. And we thought, we were so hopeful that she was going to be extraordinary. She trained great until she didn't. And she had a knee that bit her, and it was such that we had to stop on her, and we bred her. And so yeah, so Byron, I was telling Byron about the story of her first foal ended up running into the fence, injuring itself such that she couldn't be sold, she couldn't be raced, and we had to give her away. So that's the reality of what can happen in the business. The other side is when it doesn't, and that's the side that is the best. But we never ignore that these are animals, and we leave them close to nature as possible because that's the best friend they have. And we accept when it doesn't go quite to our plan, because that's just the way it is. In the meantime, as Stephen Colbert would say, meanwhile, we've got an effective yearling colt. She's in foal now, carrying an Oscar Performance. That yearling colt is, carrying a Mendelssohn. That yearling colt is by Oscar Performance. And so we live in hope. I know. Don't pin your ears. Y'all be nice. Don't pin your ears. Everybody be nice. All right, let's go see if we can find some babies, y'all. I keep on looking over to the far right, hoping that the mares at barn 14 have been turned out, but they haven't yet. That's okay. We got nothing but green grass ahead of us and horses. So on the horizon there is a black barn, a tobacco barn, and as many of y'all now know or knew, tobacco barns are great for housing these horses because you really want to be as close to nature as you can, and with the ventilation, yet you need to house them on the occasion. And with the ventilation of tobacco barns and in the past curing tobacco, they serve as wonderful facilities for horses. So all through central Kentucky you'll find there a lot of tobacco barns that were stored, that were saved for installed for housing horses, and they work out great. We're also approaching the land. We own about 700 acres, and we lease a couple of hundred acres from the Helm Place, and that's what. Hello, Mama. And that's what we've done. We've done that for 30 years or so. Recently, and then Helm Place is a historic home that had this acreage that went with it, and we've always used the acreage. And the historic home was owned by the Museum Society. Recently, it was sold because it wasn't conducive to do any kind of touring through it. And a gentleman and his family bought that, and they're going to turn it into their residence and restore it, and excited for its future, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to lease this land from him and them. But it's always been, it was owned by a family that was very close with Mom, and they loved that we use the land and such, and hopefully this gentleman will feel the same way. It's an integral part. We have 2 barns on the property that we use, barn 7 and barn 15, and just a part of our working day. So if you've been on our horse country tour, you've maybe driven around and seen that. Now we're going to try these old rickety fences again and hope we get lucky. We'll find out. Nothing against, everything ages. I think. Good luck. All right. Barn 7. Where we're approaching.
Hold it straight up. You go straight up like that.
Oh.
Oh, good. This way.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. Just hang in there. Uh-oh. Hang in there. Danielle's trying to help me. All right.
Better?
I think so.
All right.
We're fine.
Yeah. Make sure it's. All right. There you go.
All right. All right. Well, nothing has been turned out yet. So how it works, as I mentioned, Byron and I came this morning. Our day starts at 7 with our employees. You've got different divisions. You've got the yearling division, the stallion division, the broodmare division, and a maintenance division. The yearling guys go and start to collect the yearlings that have been out all night. They bring them in, they have a lie down, they'll pick their feet and things. This time of year we're starting to show more than to our clients that come through and stuff like that than earlier in the year. Again, spring has sprung and everything's starting to happen now, isn't it? So they'll bring all the yearlings in, and the same for all these different divisions. This is barn 7. These guys aren't quite of the age yet that they're staying out all night necessarily. This is Oscar Performance filly foal out of a foundation mare for a dear friend of ours, Tolly, and her daughter Audie Otto, and the mare's name is Shop Again. And Shop Again is a 21-year-old mare and still producing fantastically. She has really one of our nicer yearlings, an Oscar Performance filly. Don't get grumpy with me, Gimbal. I'm just trying to do the best I can do. You're okay, baby. I'm just going to say hello. You're okay. Don't even worry about it. Shop Again right there. Baby right there. And she's become a foundation mare for the Otto family. They've got a daughter of hers named Smart Shopping, who is a very good producer. It's just too hard. I'm with you. Felt that way this morning. So it says bring them on video. Does that mean anything?
Oh yeah, don't hit that button.
Okay. See, team. So right now, as I say, they all came in early this morning, and they're all having a rest till about 10:30, 11, something like that, and they'll be turned out in various phases. The mares that were up all night in the foaling barn are turned out now, but these guys that are back in the barn were out all night. Did y'all know that horses can sleep standing up? That's right. That's right. They've got a certain kind of ligament that allows it to lock and allow them to sleep standing up without falling down. Nature's way. I don't know the details, but that's the way it is. So like when they go on a van ride, people say, well, can they lie down? You know what? They don't have to lie down because they're able to sleep standing up. You're welcome, Ralph. It's our pleasure. Thank you. You're okay, baby. I know it's too hard. I feel you. So that's Shop Again. And this barn has mares that are at a certain stage and phase, and I've mentioned to you, if you don't follow me and you want to, I'm on Twitter, and I try to share different scenes and experiences with the foals, with the mares, with the yearlings, coming in from the field, or Oscar Performance, or Aloha West, or just different things, and I keep it simple. There's no message other than just to allow you to be a part of all this stuff that we are so fortunate to have. And that's why we share. So here's a mom and her baby that are outside. Dream Forever. An Ammerman mare. Thank you, Daniela. And her Oscar Performance baby. Hey, mama. The green grass hadn't quite gotten in there yet, but that's okay. This was a very big foal, on birth, nearly 150 pounds. And I know it, Mama. I know it. I know it. 150 pounds. And if you look at its conformation, it's what we call over in the knees at the moment. It was, at the time that it was born, it was very much over in its knees. So we allow it to have exercise gradually and to eventually to stretch out those tendons and ligaments for it to be where it will get the foot on the ground and such like that. But again, that's nature and it's a process, and you just try to work with the hand that you're dealt. And again, team and experience takes every scenario that we can and tries to do the best that we can with it. So it's kind of a sleepy old day today. Everything's, much of what we have is inside at the moment. We just have these mares here with their expected babies and things. So next time we do this, which will be the middle of May, we will have run the Kentucky Derby. And all these dreams that everybody's had, somebody will be fulfilled. And most won't. But that's okay. Because the anticipation to get to that experience and on that platform to be able to experience is an incredible ride in itself. So unless you embrace that and celebrate that, you're really missing the whole experience. I was sharing last night at the dinner that 30% wins in this business and in baseball will get you in the Hall of Fame. So that means you got to learn and manage how to lose. And if you look and say it's a process more than a loss, it helps you to get through. And part of that process is just this land and these horses and all that goes into it all. And that's why we love to let y'all be a part of it, because it helps you to understand and lets us share how we approach all of this. And I know you enjoy it. One of the rewards that Price and I have gotten with horse country, and when we were building it out, we never really anticipated, was we'll go and say hello to the tours, and wow, everybody to a person is so appreciative of the opportunity to experience Mill Ridge and to be on this farm and to learn about where the horse comes from and about our family and things, and that them reminding us helps you to get through those more difficult days. It's part of life. And then if you're fortunate enough to touch the highest level of whatever your dreams are, it's that much richer. But in between, which is going to be most of the time, you find a way. And that's what this is right here. So Price has just been very busy. He extends his love to yourselves. He's the one that started all this stuff. It's because of him that we're here. We're going to hold for a second, Byron. So he sends his love. It's hard to say where he'll be, but we'll do it again mid-May. I'd have a big partner here with Daniela. And now my dear friend has experienced it as well. Byron, until next time.
Until next time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. It's great We'll see you mid-May. Stay healthy. Take care.